Welcome to our presentation on funding for the new EDA website. In the next few slides, we'll explain who we are and why we're asking for donations. What's in a website? Well, everything. It creates an all-important first impression. It's our brand, our public face. EDA has evolved since 2017, and we've outgrown our current site. We have so much more to offer now, and we need a robust vehicle to educate and inform the public. So with that, let's look at the agenda. We'll look at who is EDA and what do we stand for, our accomplishments and leadership, EDA's action teams, how they're structured, and what they do. So let's look at the first section, who is EDA? This is our mission statement, ensuring the sustainable development and management of vital resources to meet the basic human needs of current and future generations through economic democracy. 3 years ago, a group of people got together and established a nonpartisan organization committed to working for a sustainable future, and this mission statement reflects our basic goals. And this is our vision statement, to be a leading organization dedicated to research, education, and grassroots advocacy for governmental legislation in support of meeting basic human needs on a sustainable basis. This is no small aspiration, and for the past 3 years, we've been working on a strategic plan to accomplish our goals. So why did we create EDA? We are in the midst of a crisis that affects everyone on the planet. Our economies are failing and only working for the wealthy. Healthcare systems are under siege. The coronavirus pandemic has made us realize how all the world's operating systems are under major stress. And food supply chains are also being interrupted. And the list goes on. Global warming is rapidly impacting the entire planet. We're seeing an unprecedented loss of species. There's biodiversity loss, and we're seeing shortages of critical natural resources. So what makes EDA different from any other group working on these issues? Well, we're committed to the belief that the planet's resources belong to the global commons. The commons are those resources which support and sustain our basic needs, such as forests, water, fisheries, air, in fact, all the things that are theoretically owned and shared by all. And we're different from other groups because we work with communities at the local level. We promote equality and cooperation from the bottom up, and we partner with similarly focused organizations. So to summarize, we are a grassroots organization advocating for legislation that supports equitable and sustainable resource management. Now let's look at our accomplishments and leadership. So what have we done so far? Well, we drafted and ratified a comprehensive cooperative charter. 60 people gathered in Philadelphia to collaborate and agree on the wording and intent of this document. And this document is the roadmap for our vision, our mission, and how we operate. And we formed 2 nonprofit corporations, one educational and one charitable. Incorporating as a 501c demonstrates EDA's commitment to our mission, and it means we're responsible for following all the laws and rules for a 501c organization. We have grown from a diverse group of individuals into a functioning organization. The widest group, shown in blue, represents all active members. Then moving inward to the pink area, we have the various teams and positions involved in carrying out the work of EDA, both internally and for the public. At the center of the diagram is EDA's management and the Board of Trustees, which includes the Executive Committee. EDA's elected president is Roar Bionis. He is co-founder of Systems Change Alliance, an international platform for individuals and groups concerned about creating a more people and earth-friendly economy. A published author, he brings a wealth of experience to EDA. He is also the author of Growing a New Economy and Principles for a Balanced Economy. Both books present the progressive utilization theory known as PROUT. Our managing director is James Quilligan. As an internationally known economist, James has had a distinguished career as a consultant to governments in over 50 countries. He has been an analyst and administrator in the field of international development since 1975. He was a policy advisor and press secretary for the Brandt Commission and managing director of the Center for Global Negotiations and Global Commons Trust from 2001 to 2015. He has been an advisor to several United Nations programs and international development agencies. He has written many articles on the Commons and has been the keynote speaker at numerous international conferences, including the 7th International Redesign for Resilience and Regeneration Conference in September of 2020. We elected an executive committee, 3 at-large trustees, and we formed a board of trustees that meets on a weekly basis. We elected a 3-member mediation body to address any internal disputes. And we held 3 annual conferences in Asheville, Philadelphia, and Oakland. We also wrote and produced a 4-part advocacy training video called Resource Democracy in the Age of Climate Change. EDA posts a monthly newsletter about economic democracy, articles we're currently reading, and the latest news. We were recently recognized for the quality of our newsletter from 2 organizations, P2P Foundation and R3.0. In a quote to their members, they said, "We at R3.0 have been praised for our in-depth newsletter, but our efforts pale in comparison to the Economic Democracy Advocates newsletter. In particular, EDA Managing Director James Quilligan has contributed a 3-part series on the principles of local economic democracy that we consider required reading." So to summarize EDA's accomplishments and leadership, EDA members are committed to a unique vision, strong leadership, and we have created a truly democratic organizational structure. Now let's look at EDA's action teams. EDA relies on its active and supporting members to contribute their talents, energy, and initiative, and many of these members work on one of EDA's 3 action teams. There are 3 action teams that carry out the work of EDA: research, advocacy, and education. So let's look at what each team does and some of their accomplishments. The research team is doing a lot of work on carrying capacity in various regions. Carrying capacity refers to the level of resources an environment can carry or sustain to meet the needs of its population. EDA's research team has actually developed a methodology for computing agricultural carrying capacity for a county or bioregion, and this is something that has never been done before. And to do that research, they use information that's publicly available. Armed with data on carrying capacity, this information can be used to shape public policy. Measuring carrying capacity is a persuasive tool for legislators because the growth in some regions has driven resource use and population growth to unsustainable levels. The research team has developed several reports and presentations: a guide to carrying capacity, agricultural sustainability in the San Francisco Bay watershed, a pilot study in bioregionalism, food and water sustainability in the Upper French Broad River watershed, arsenic found in wells in Maine, food carrying capacity of the Penobscot Nation Reservation, and carrying capacity of renewable energy in Oregon. So now let's look at the advocacy team. They presented 3 day-long workshops, 2 in Asheville, North Carolina, and 1 at EDA's annual conference in 2019 in Oakland, California. EDA's advocacy training has focused on introducing participants to EDA's work on resource democracy and resource sustainability, educating participants on the power of data collected by the research team on carrying capacity, and teaching participants how to effectively lobby local legislators in support of bills and legislation that deals with food, energy, or water. In fact, after the conference in Oakland, a group of attendees were able to practice what they just learned. The next day, they met with local legislators to discuss an issue in the Oakland area. The advocacy team has also developed a training manual and an advocacy toolkit. It provides tips and techniques for effective lobbying. And the team is currently preparing a 4-part video introducing EDA and the work of the advocacy team. Now let's look at the education team. They have developed a curriculum called the 7 Stages of Sustainable Economies. This will be used in EDA training. They're currently presenting a 10-week seminar called The Civics of Resource Democracy. This is presented every Friday night at 7 p.m. until October 9th. The Zoom link is on the active members section of Lumio, which is the platform we use to keep in touch with our members. This education is free and open to both members and non-members. In addition to our 3 action teams, we also have a number of other teams. A board of trustees, a web team working on content for the new website, an election board that handles elections and ratifications, a membership committee, mediation body, information technology team, and a finance team. So to summarize, our 3 action teams work together to offer cutting-edge research on carrying capacity, education on resource equity and resource sustainability, and training that anyone can use to learn how to effectively advocate for legislative changes. So now let's talk about funding for the new website. As noted in the beginning of this presentation, our fundraising target is $25,000. Why do we need to build a new website? Well, the current website has served us well, but we've outgrown it. The work we're now doing is very important, but making it known to the public has been hampered by a very bare-bones website. EDA has so much more to offer, and we need a better vehicle to inform and educate the public. And here are some of the features we want to include in the new website. Integration with our fundraising program. The ability to include GIS maps like the one shown here. A section for advocacy tools, videos, blogs, and podcasts, and dynamic and engaging design and graphics. To accomplish this, we'll need the services of an experienced web and graphic designer to make this a reality. After learning more about EDA, we hope you will consider supporting us in building our new website. All contributions are tax deductible. And thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.